My name is Joy Ike, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
It's what I do. I make music for you. Try to do my best to make you proud of these tunes. It's what I do. I make music for you. I hope everything you gave comes back 10 times to you. Sitting and wondering how to say thank you without repeating myself. How to show love to 100 of you without repeating myself.
Yeah, I started recording the album in June of 2012, and the album itself didn't really start then, but it started probably back in late 2010 or 2011. I released my last album, Rumors, in the spring of 2010, and not too long after that I started writing songs. And usually, like whenever I'm in the studio or whenever I'm working on a project, the well is dry as far as like writing new songs. So usually after I get a project out, all of a sudden the floodgates open and I start writing again. So the songs for All or Nothing, some of them came shortly after the last album, and it's probably taken about 2 years or so it took about 2 years or so to create the songs that are now on this new album. And there are so many things that went into it other than just the writing process. But of course, trying to find a producer to work with, finessing the songs with my bandmates, and then ultimately going into the studio the summer of last year to work on the album. So it feels like a 10-step process from start to finish. The first song I wrote for All or Nothing, I don't exactly remember, but I want to say, oh, you know what, Time. There's a song that I wrote for a couple for their wedding. They asked me to write a song talking about how they met and how their relationship developed over the years. And that song was one of the songs I wrote as a Kickstarter reward for people who donated to the last album. So it kind of bled over from one project to the next. And the song is one of the songs that I really fell in love with. For me, it was really hard. It's been really hard to write songs for other people because they don't necessarily come out of personal places. But this specific song was really easy to write, and I think maybe I was just resonating with their story and the idea of what it means to, fall in love with someone and want to be with them and go wherever they go. Even if life isn't perfect, the idea that the two of you together is perfect, and that's what makes your life perfect. So that's essentially what the song is about. So that's the first song I wrote for the album, and I knew when I wrote it that it was going to go eventually onto the new project. The hardest thing about creating this album was giving it space. I really wanted the project to be done by the end of 2012 because I really wanted a new album to be able to share with people, and these songs they kind of existed, so I was just like, man, I gotta pump this out, I gotta get this out. But I had to wait a couple extra months, and in the grand scheme of things, a couple extra months really isn't much at all. But it was kind of hard to just sit and wait for the right timing for things, and to know that usually, if something's going to be done well, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to take time to simmer and be quality. I can't really say it's my favorite song, but the song that has like most sentimental value to me is a song called Home, and it's the final song on the album. And I've never taken so long to write a song, but that song took me about a year and 3 months, give or take. And I don't know, it was just a heartfelt song. It's a song that I wrote because I didn't know how to say what I wanted to say. So I kept writing it, and I kept leaving it and then coming back and leaving it and coming back until ultimately it existed. But it's really just about the push and pull of relationships, and how sometimes what you're saying is taken the wrong way, not as you intend, and in many cases sometimes what it is that you're getting from the other person isn't what they're intending for you to get, as far as communication goes, whether it be verbal or nonverbal. So that's kind of the song that means the most to me, and I think it will ultimately always be my, I guess favorite song on the album. So the first song on the album is called Everything You Have, and it's a song about the things that we have in life, or materialistic things, how they don't last. They never do, because they're not created to last. And when I was writing it, it's actually the last song I wrote for the project. When I was writing it, I felt at that point that I didn't have a, quote-unquote single for the album, and I can't really say that influenced the writing process. Like, I wasn't saying, okay, I need to write a hit single or something, but I was looking for a song to kind of fill that hole between like poppy and meaningful. And I felt like I had a lot of really fun songs on the album already that were really upbeat, but still didn't fill that hole of, the Joy Ike, the Joy Ike message, if you want to call it that. And there's this running, wouldn't really call it a theme, but a lot of my stuff has a lot to do with my faith, with my belief system and my convictions. And for me, it's really important for that to be a part of the creative process, and really important for that to weave its way into my music. And so I really wanted to write a song that was approachable by people listening to the album, that talked about how important it is for us not to put all of our time and energy on material things, and also to kind of redirect people and be like, what the things that are important, or the thing that is important, is God, who is there and exists and lasts forever, unlike those things that we have and usually put in the place of God. So that's kind of how that song happened, and I don't even know I can't remember if it came quickly or if it took time to develop as a song, but I knew when I was writing it, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be the single. My first thought when the album was completed, a huge sigh of relief, because being in the studio isn't really my favorite thing. There are many other places I would rather be, and so finishing the project was like a huge accomplishment for me, and there was something special about this album and something different about it. It's not like any of the other projects I've done. So I just felt this huge sense of completion, and just felt very proud that it existed, that it exists, and I just it was like a huge weight off my shoulder. I was like, wow, now I can kind of rest. But at the same time, the work only began once the project was done, because now I have to let people know it exists. Did I accomplish my goal as far as making the album goes? Well, yeah. I mean, if we're talking about creating a studio project, then yes. I think that goal's been accomplished. If we're talking in the grand scheme of things, what my goal is for life, or music making, or what my goals are for this specific album, I've barely scratched the surface. There's so many places to go and so many things to do, and this project has so much life in it, and so many ears that it needs to land on. So yeah, there's so much work to do, and maybe we could. You could ask me that question in a year, and I will have a better answer for you. But we barely scratched the surface.
iMoveILive.com, online music magazine. No major labels, just Major Music.
Any talk